Yeah, I'm off.
All right, next up, Buffalo, Wisconsin. We got the Badgers, the new look Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin 27.5-point home favorites, 54. A lot of love for Wisconsin. I'm hearing a lot of people thinking this team's going to be really good. They're by default with Paul Chryst gone and now Luke Fickell taking over. You've got a guy that's just a winner. We saw what he did at Cincinnati and winning culture he brings to the Badgers, to Madison, Wisconsin. I agree with all of that. I think it's a great hire. And I love that. And it may be one of the biggest quarterback upgrades from one season to the next. You go from Graham Mertz, who was just absolutely god-awful, pathetic, brutal, and you go from him to Tanner Mordecai, who transfers in from SMU, who has had a great career at SMU. Terrific thrower of the football. He's a little bit more athletic than some people think. I love a lot of what I've just said. Here's the issue, though. You recruited for years to be run-heavy, smash-mouth football team on the offensive side of the football. And now you're going to go to this air raid offense that they're going to try to bring in, throw it all around the field with Mordecai, which I think plays to his strength. But do you have the recruits? Do you have the personnel to execute that kind of offense early in the season when you recruited these big, huge offensive linemen for a run, smash mouth style of offense, run heavy for all these years? That's the big question I have with the Badgers. You know, can the scheme fit the personnel? Okay, that's the question. And Phil Longo, we just talked about North Carolina lost their offensive coordinator. It was Phil Longo, although Chip Lindsey taken over there. There's not going to be a huge change in the scheme. There is a huge change in the scheme. You're going to go from slow down, run heavy offense to up tempo, fast, more of a pass heavy attack with Phil Longo, who's now the OC here at Wisconsin. So is the scheme going to fit the personnel this season? Eventually it will, because Fickell and Longo, they're going to bring in guys that are good quarterbacks, good pass protecting linemen, better receivers, and do they have the receiving talent right now to go more heavy to the pass as well? Wisconsin, you got to ask yourself that. You know, is Chamari Dike, Will Pauling, Bryson Green, guys like that going to be able to make plays in the passing game here for Wisconsin? There's a question about whether it's going to work early, but they get a good opponent here because Buffalo defensively, I've got big issues with them. And more than anything, you know, maybe jump on an over, which I did here in this game at 54, simply because, you know, Wisconsin on defense last year took some steps back. And when you look at this Buffalo team on offense, one thing they are doing every year under Linguist, the coach, is they're balanced. They can run it. Their O-line's pretty solid. Cole Snyder is a very experienced quarterback for the Bulls. I do think Buffalo could punch in some scores, and Wisconsin with this new faster-paced, pass-heavy attack, maybe not something that's accounted for right away with their totals. So that's for that reason, that's why I bet over here, 54. Say jump on some Wisconsin overs, huge scheme change, much greater pace and tempo, take advantage of it right away. So that's the bet for me in this game. Nothing on the side, just to play toward over 54. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, maybe the total is a little bit too low in this one. I'm going to sit with it a little bit longer. You mentioned Cole. He's pretty good. Cole Snyder, quarterback. He had 18 touchdowns. And how good is this Wisconsin defense is the key, too. They have Cook in the backfield who's solid. And Buffalo, I don't think their defense is very good, but they do bring a lot of pieces back. I don't know how much that's going to work out for them. But you mentioned Longo, the new offensive coordinator, should be very good. C.J. Wilson, they got these transfers, you know, and I think he'll bring them in there, Fickell to Wisconsin, and really get this team good the next few years. This year, you know, people are thinking they're going to just win 10 games out of the rip. I'm not so sure. And one thing with Mordecai, great quarterback. I don't know if he has that. We're going to find out that kind of, I don't know, that dog in him. He just, you know, I didn't see him win big games and really do big things, even though I think he has a big arm. So we'll see. But a game like this, I think there should be plenty of points. And another thing, I'm not going to lay it here with Wisconsin, but I just can't get on the other side either, so I'm off.